I hope everybody understands what's happening. I hope everybody understands what's happening right now. And I hope you are relishing this moment as I wear my Trump 2020 hat. When the election was stolen from him, which is what we should always say to everybody who asks, do you believe that President Trump won the election in 2020? Yes, I do. Drive these people crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lionel Nation, the Saturday morning edition. It's a beautiful, balmy, gorgeous 64 degrees in New York City. I was out this morning early for a breakfast way downtown, right around the Chinatown courthouse area, federal courthouse. And on the way back, I'm listening to various goings on. I'm listening to the Fox News thing on that they're serious on the transistor. And I'm listening to this hyperbolic, hyper exuberant giddiness on the part of these youngsters, bless their heart, doing the best they can. And I realize what they need more than anything else right now is the voice of an experienced adult. But of course, I'm busy, so I can't help them. That's what today is, my friend. We've been through this, through thick and thin. I've always told you from the beginning, remember this. Remember, do not get into the position of thinking that everything's groovy, that we're going to win just because you like President Trump or you think he's going to win. Doesn't matter what you think. Your feelings don't matter. It's facts and data. But my dear friends, we are going to win. So sit back, sit tight, get ready, hang on. But before we begin, before we get into this, let us first listen to these great words from our great sponsor. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. And what's even more shocking is that he's stronger. He can work out longer and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. And make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Lionel or by clicking on the link below this video. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Lionel and click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You won't believe how simple it is. Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old and yet has more energy than most. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply by focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Watch his method by clicking the link in the description below, chuckdefense.com/Lionel. My friends, let's get down to business right now. This is the election of a lifetime. And I want you to be aware of a couple of things. I was just talking to friends of mine in Tampa in the area, and there are gas stations still out. Power is out. People's houses are devastated. I don't know where people are saying, hey, everything is terrific. You know, Helene and Milton, that's done. No, it's not done. It's not done by a long shot, by any stretch of the imagination. And what it is right now, people are saying, wait a minute, we're not going to be, I'm not going to be caught off guard again. People really didn't know what to do. People, and I'm not talking about people who live necessarily by the West Coast or in Florida or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm talking about is there is something which I absolutely believe that we're going to be talking about, and it's about time that we start talking about it. And I want to talk everything from Wi-Fi to 5G to 6G to what they're spraying to everything that we've been told not to talk about. We need to talk about immediately. Immediately. Do you understand what I'm saying? This, my friends, is what we need to be talking about today. And I want you to listen to me. This is going to be the change. This is going to change everything. This is going to change everything. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is going to change everything. Everything. Now, a couple of things here. First and foremost, number one, I want you to make sure that you do everything in your power right now to take advice, to take the following into consideration. There's a wonderful series, a wonderful group called My Patriot Supplies, and it is called preparewithlionel.com. I want you to make sure that as soon as you are done today with this, as soon as you are done, you go to preparewithlionel.com and you just look, scan the horizon, scan and see what is available. What is available right now? You've put this off for the longest time. You thought, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Remember, water, energy, food, gold, and ammo. The ammo part, I got to leave you to your own devices for that one. But when it comes to food, when it comes to secure food, and that's kind of an overbroad statement. Preparewithlionel.com. Right now, there's a 3-month emergency food kit right now. Save $508 in free extras for a limited time. But here's something which you have to understand. It's not just food. Food is critical. But talk about water purification. What do you do when you don't have bottled water? What do you do? They have water purification systems, water filtration, gravity fed, the containers for this. Survival items, solar power generators, solar powered off the grid biomass ovens, things you would have never thought about ever. Hurricane proof lighting devices, matches, hatchets, self-powered space heaters, waterproof EMP backups, emergency drinking water, first aid, heirloom seeds, survival coffees, instructionals, videos. What do you do? How do you prepare? How much do you buy? Where do you store it? They have pay over time procedures or plans, and also they have a disaster replacement warranty. So if your food, if your devices, if your equipment, if your safety tether is damaged, missing, whatever it is, there's a replacement procedure for that. Preparewithlionel.com. Take it from Uncle Lenny. I've seen them. This is the best. Nature is telling you to be prepared. Now, my friends, I want to start off by explaining one of my, and by the way, please notice this is my 2020 hat. Let me ask you a quick question. So show of hands. Was Trump ripped off in 2020? Did Trump win? Yes or no? I'm not saying whether whether you like him. I'm not saying whether you think he's great, or I'm not saying that. Do you think Trump? Do you think Trump? Do you think Trump won, lost, whatever? I'm asking you right now. Do you feel yes? How can you not? How can you not know this? This is one of those things where, how do we say this? Hillary Clinton thought for sure. Hillary Clinton thought, and she believed that she was absolutely, the what am I trying to say? Not the beneficiary, but she thought she was the victim. She thought she was the victim of Russian collusion. She had no problem with that. She thought she was the victim. She thought she was the victim. She thought absolutely, positively. She said in no uncertain terms, without anybody questioning her, without anybody asking any questions, without anybody saying anything. She believed, listen to what I'm saying. She believed that she was the victim of this. Absolutely. And she said that the Russians, let me see if I got this right, that the Russians stole her election by virtue of placing, remember this, Facebook ads. Facebook ads. This is what she said. She told you this. She made no bones about it. She said, they stole the election by Facebook ads. That's it. You hear what I'm saying? That's it. Facebook ads. That's it. You hear what I'm saying? Are you following what I'm saying? Facebook ads. She believes, she honestly, truly, literally, actually, seriously believes, and I'm going to say this again to you, that that Vladimir Putin and the rest stole this from her because of placing Facebook ads. Swear to God. And people were saying, where did you get that from? Doesn't matter. She's Hillary Clinton. She can say whatever she wants. Now, J.D. Vance was on the other day with somebody from the New York Times. And J.D. Vance has to look these people in the eye and tell them flat out, now listen, let me explain this to you. Look them right in the eye. They stole the election. Would you have certified the votes? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, this is a moot point. This is a moot point. Nobody cares about this, but it would have driven her crazy. I would have asked the question. Do you or do you not have the chance to certify? Do you think that certification of the votes by the vice president was something that was done automatically, or was something that involves the president or the vice president exercising his own individual exercise of discretion? Yes or no? Do you believe that? Raul Rodriguez says Trump lost to the organized and determined Dems. Well, when you say lost, understand what you're saying. Did he lose? Like, well, he lost to the people who declared the winner. Yeah. Did people lose the race to Lance Armstrong when he was cheating? Yes. When people were competing against Mark, what's his name, and Sammy Sosa and all this, do you think, when they were using PEDs and the like, do you think that they lost? Yeah, they lost. They lost to cheaters. Do you think that that Richard Nixon lost to JFK through Sam Giancana in Chicago? Yes, they did. What are you talking about here? This is something which absolutely nobody really seems to understand how this thing works. Nobody grasps the notion of what's really happening here. And what I am telling you, what I am saying, and what is critical for everybody to really, really understand flat out is a very, very simple concept. He doesn't have to explain this anymore, and this is moot. Now, that's number one. Number two, Trump's going to Coachella today. This is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think anybody truly understands how this works. He is going to Coachella. Do you understand? Kevin says he won 2020, no doubt. I knew the fix was in when Fox called Arizona. Fox can suck it. Thank you, Kevin. I'm not going to argue with your particular feeling and ideology regarding that. I agree 100%. But I wish people in the Trump team would stop running from this. Stop running from this. What are you doing? Just say it. Just admit it. What are you talking about? Just say it. Say it. I'm serious. There's a lot of things I don't understand what's happening. Now, that's number one. Number two, and this is something which a lot of people like to play in terms of this parlor game, which I can't really help you with, but I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, it goes something like this. Why? Why is such a wonderful question? People love the question why. Why? 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 Why this? Why that? I don't know why. It's hard to say. Why? Don't know why. Can't tell you why. Not sure why. Hard to say. Why is a very, 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 very difficult thing to say. But here's a couple of whys I don't know. Can you please tell me why, in the name of God, why, and this is important, this is critical, why, can you please tell me, why in the name of God is there this, I don't know what the word is, why is there this change of pattern? Let me see if I can explain this to you. Why did they pick Kamala Harris? I don't know. Why did they pick Tampon Timmy? Do you know the stuff that is going around regarding Tampon Timmy? I'm not going to mention it now because I think it's unsubstantiated. And it is one of these things which, if something is purely rumor, I'm not going to bother with it. If something is truly rumored, I'm not going to bother. I'm just not. Okay. I'm not going to do it. But let me see if I can explain this to you. There is so much dirt on this guy, it's not even funny. Dirt like you can't believe. Dirt like you can't believe. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know if they knew this, but why him? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Why is if I could please show you this one video, and forgive me, yesterday, last night, it was very difficult. I was trying to put these particular videos up, and it's very difficult. And I'm sorry, I meant to have these up, but I was running late, and I got things to do, and so I got to move it to 9 o'clock. So please, I beg your forgiveness. But I want you to show you nonetheless some things which I think are really, really critical. And one of them is this. Let me see if I can show this to you. Hang on. Because these are the things which make me wonder, why do they do this? Did you see the picture of her on Vogue? Okay, here's one for you. Okay, now, I don't want to be mean. Whenever I find myself saying, I don't want to be mean, that normally sounds like I'm being mean. I don't want you to think I'm being mean because I don't want to be mean. It's not my thing. I don't want to make fun of people's looks, and I don't want to do all this stuff. I really don't. But I understand that they taught me the other side how mean they are when it comes to Melania Trump. They taught me how mean she was. And they were mean about how she looks, what she sounds like, her past, or they were saying terrible things about Barron. I mean, these are very, very, very nasty, terrible people. So they're mean and they don't really care about it. So I don't really care about me being mean as well. But I want you to watch this. And I want you to ask yourself this question very, very simply. Why? Okay. Just a minute. Pardon me. Talk amongst yourself. There we go. Here we go. And here it is right here. Let's look at this one right now. Here we go. Okay, right off the bat. Now let me just go back. I'm going to go back. This is the daughter. This is Slappy's daughter. Now there's something wrong with Slappy. Slappy's got steamer trunk emotional baggage. If we were not officially broadcasting, I would tell you what I think. As somebody who's been around, somebody who's met every kind of permutation of freak there is, but this guy has got so many skeletons, corpses, bodies in that closet, you can imagine. Now, this is his daughter. Now, his daughter, Emma, whatever her name is. I don't want to mock the way she looks. She's a model. Now, hang on a minute. Stop for a second. She's a model. She calls herself a model. All right. So this is what she's doing. Remember, Harris Walls. Look at this. Look at this side. Doesn't even say Harris Walls for what? Let's assume somebody doesn't even know who Harris is. They don't even say there's no logo, there's no flag, there's just blue and white. That's it. Boring, boring. And this guy on the left, this is the first husband. He's whatever it is. This is a guy who basically, remember if you hear the particular story about his girlfriend, the one he oh God, what am I trying to say? The one he well, I'm trying to think of the word. The one he love bombed before. Okay. Enough of the introduction. Watch this.
This is not the time to be like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll register later. I'll check my out-of-state mail voting later. The time is now because I've checked in with people and they have been so thankful that I've reminded them to mail everything in. So that's my biggest message, is reach out to your peers.
Wow. Who exactly is this? Who exactly do you think this is appealing to? Anybody? Who do you think this is appealing to? Roughly. I'm just asking. I'm asking because I'm sorry. I'm funny this way. Who do you think this is appealing to? Seriously. Who? Who? Tell me. Tell me in the young black male Latino regular folks, when you first see this, and I'm not trying to be mean, but who do you think this appeals to? What are you doing? I'm not saying keep her home, but why are you putting this out? Right now, as we speak, we all say this right now. Theoretically, we have as we speak, there is theoretically how many days until the election? Technically speaking, it is, I don't even know, 23, whatever days. Why is that? Let me show you another one. This is one that I wanted to share this with you. And again, please, I apologize for not having this ahead of time, but I was running around and you have no earthly idea. Okay. Hang on a second. I put this together, and God bless the internet for doing this. Did you see your picture on Vogue? Oh, Lord. Did you see your picture on Vogue? This is, again, a person who absolutely has not a clue as to what's going on. This is a woman who has not going on. Now, this is the latest one of Country Over Party. She doesn't know what she's doing. She is disassembling. She is imploding before your eyes. She doesn't know what to say. She's in a position right now where she's flailing. Okay? Now you tell me what this is. And remember, days before, you want to show a steely courage, you want to show a focused demeanor. That's what you want. You want to show I'm in charge here. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So let's look at this one and tell me what you think you gather from this particular episode of performance.
As though it is a sign of weakness to have empathy. In the Senate, well, it was late into the night, and in the Senate, you walk onto the Senate floor, and there are these big wooden ornate doors. And those ornate doors opened. And John McCain came out. He's going after me. And I'm going back after him. And that was it. And this is what the public saw. And then I step onto the floor of the well of the Senate later that day. We had votes. And I passed by John McCain. And he looks at me and he says, "Kid, come over here."
Never happened.
"You're going to make a great senator."
Never happened.
True story.
Never happened. When somebody says true story, never happened. It doesn't matter. It's not working. None of this thing is working. None of this is working. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. None of it is working. And you got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? All she had to do was just show up. Show up to Florida. Show up to Helene Milton, stand there and be presidential. She doesn't know what she's doing. Now, I'm not about to correct them. And I'm not about to say, listen, here's what you need to do. Here's how to correct this. But this is what we're happening right now. This is incredible. Raul says dirty politicians are easier to manipulate. Yes, but I want you to also just recognize something. There's something that is very simple. It's called incompetence. And it doesn't make any sense. You would think people would be so smart as to this. Let me give you an idea of something. And it is, I will say this, it is tough for them because they are up against a natural politician, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. Okay? They are seeing a natural politician, the likes of which they have never seen before. Do you follow what I'm saying? They've never seen this before. Truly, they really don't know. So they don't know how to handle somebody like Trump. Let me show you something. Compared to what you see right now, this business about her, anecdotes. See, what she's trying to do is she wants you to like her. I'm going to go on a limb here, but I'm going to say this nonetheless. All her life, she has thought that she could just flatter people. She could just flatter people. You see what I'm saying? Just flatter them. She could just be in a position, she could just say some things just to win people over. Let me go a little bit further. There are some people who always figure they can finagle men and positions of power by creating the illusion or the myth that they like these people. Does that make any sense to you? That they care for these people. Does that make any sense to you? I mean, this is something which we have to kind of grasp and put into perspective. This is something which is very, very difficult for me to want or to explain to you. But listen carefully. They're doing everything in their power to convey to you that they like you, whether you're Willie Brown or Montel Williams. Maybe your heart's not in it. Maybe your heart's not in it in terms of the actual attraction factor. Maybe she wasn't ever really attracted to Willie Brown or Montel Williams, but she was attracted to the attention. So what does she do? Well, maybe her heart's not in it, but maybe there's a way for her to figure out how to act. Maybe there's a way for her to understand and to act in a way that is instructional, giving you the impression, I really like you. Doug, her slappy, when he was going out with a woman that he eventually said that, or she said slapped him, she said he love bombed him. All Alone Pepper says Kamala is killing the down ballot Democratic candidates. Oh, absolutely. Because remember, when the president falls, everybody else falls. He, who I think has some very serious issues in terms of his own legitimacy, his own, let's say, sexual legitimacy, just saying. Sometimes people like Asperger's folks will do. Sometimes they will overwhelm. They will overwhelm you with things that are, well, they will overwhelm you with pretending like they like you. Like, is this the way to show you I like you? Is this the way to show you like, is this the way to show attraction? Is this the way? You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to say, you know what I'm saying, because I think a lot of these folks after a while are sexually labile. They are protean. They're anything you want them to be. They are performers. Okay. They don't really have an internal feeling. They just perform. What she is trying to do, what Kamala is trying to do, in the only way she knows, is to seduce you. She's flirting with you. And she's doing it by batting her eyes and laughing and trying to make you. This is the only thing she's ever known, to act coy and to act laughing. And okay. Now compare that, my friends, to this.
We can't take it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here.
Whether you want to talk about this, this is called leadership. Kevin says, Judge Joe Brown says she slept her way to the top. I think, but Kevin, with all due respect, that's not at all rare. That's not at all rare. Let me try this again. Have you noticed in your lifetime, have you noticed people girls who have that cheerleader worldview? I can bat my eyes. I'm sexy. I'm hot. They love me. This is the way it is. This is the way I am. They love me. I'm hot. I'm this. I'm that. Have you noticed that? And they think that the whole world is one big con. You've seen these before. It's all they know. I've seen it a million times. And you ask yourself, what are you doing? And they say, this is the only thing I know. This is the only thing. This is the only thing she knows. They don't know what to do. This is it. So consequently, all her life, this is what she's known. And why people didn't notice this, that I don't know. I'll never be able to figure that one out. I cannot answer that question. But let me show you this one right now. And let's looking at a product. Let's say you know nothing about this. I want you to watch this. This is what's going on in Aurora, Colorado. This says it all. And by the way, Coachella today, they're already lining up. Coachella. Okay, watch this. What do you think of this one? Dig this. Oh, I wait. Now, what this is doing in the last days before the election, there is this sense of people are saying, oh, and they are sending out these fools. I will never understand that. They're sending out these fools with 23 days before the actual physical election. They're sending them out to talk about male masculinity. Here's another one for you. And I want you to recognize this. You ready? Okay. People don't like her. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can explain this. People don't like her. Do you know what the worst reaction to things are? Meh. It's the worst. That is the worst reaction to anything you can imagine when somebody says, It is the worst reaction, the worst thing possible for anything. When somebody says, Trump gets into your heart. Do you know what happens? Have you ever had an ex-boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, and you thought, thank God, or where you stalked them and called them and hated them, and no, because you're kind of still in love with them. Hate is more often than not a reverse of the way you feel. The reason why he is able to engender so much reaction is that people honestly love him. And I know people don't want to hear this. I know people don't want to. I know they don't want to hear this. I recognize this. I understand this. I understand it more than you could ever imagine. Yes, I understand this. But you must grasp the fact that they absolutely positively love him, but it's this thing. He hits a nerve in you. And the people who hate him, and the people that love him, love him. But nobody is indifferent. People don't like her. They don't like her as a woman. They don't like her as a man. They don't like her. She doesn't work. One time, I've never seen this, but I've heard about this. There used to be this thing called 5-minute or 30-second or 1 minute dating, where you walked up, you sat down, and you had a minute of, I don't know what it was, 15 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, to look at somebody. When you're done, you went, yeah, wow, boom. And you wrote down the number, and then later on you tried it, whatever. And when you found this out, when you were attracted to somebody, it wasn't their looks, it wasn't their hair, it's not their blonde, not their red hair, not their brunette, not their, maybe, I mean, you might say, weight or age, or yeah, there might be some eliminated factors, but let's just assume you sat down with people and either they smiled at you, or they laughed at you, or they had a twinkle in their eye, or they looked at you, or they reminded of you, but you felt a connection. And you said, I would have never. Who knows? I've always found it very interesting when people who found themselves in interracial relationship, and they said, I'm not a Robert De Niro. I've never had a pension, but I met this person. I realized race doesn't matter. We just hit it off. I fell in love with her, him, whatever. That's what this thing is. Human connections are the weirdest things. Have you ever seen when you go pick up a dog at the pound? One dog comes up and he loves you, and you go, I love this dog. Why? He's wagging his tail. I don't know. I just know these things. I'm a human. I'm picking up on stuff. Do you understand what's happening? I'm picking up on things. Bradley Opland's picking up on things. Bradley says hypocrisy stems from envy and victimhood. The Dems tax the rich's manure for our country. How can we get people to take responsibility? Brad, you take, and that's an excellent point, my friend. It's an excellent point. You take that. Let me worry about what I'm saying. People love Trump or hate Trump not because of anything he said, not his position on the border. There's something that is happening. There is something that is happening when you meet people and you connect. I've always wondered, how do blind people date? That must be the greatest thing in the world. Two blind people meet. It must be purely voice and personality. And what do you go like, hey, you're a little chunky. What does chunky even mean to you? You're blind. I don't know what that means. How old are you? What are you, about 50, 60? I don't know what age means. I'm blind. Is she black? Yeah. What does black mean? I don't even know. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're black. What does black mean? I don't know. All I know is voice and personality. It's all I know. This one makes me laugh. This one makes me. To me, blind love must be the most beautiful, pure thing there is, because it's not in any way connected to anything other than just this human connection. And this is where we get into the spiritual part. We as humans have these connectors that we believe in. Did you ever see when a baby notices, like babies know who's good and who's not. Dogs know who's good and who's not. You know who's good. And Kamala doesn't come across. They never saw this. They don't understand it. I could have told them right away. You don't get it. It's just not working. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. People are going to ask themselves, have you ever found yourself in your life ever attracted to somebody you're saying, I don't know what the hell this is about. This person's, I'm digging this person, and I never. You might have said, I'm never going to date a man who's an ex-wife. You're married to a man with an ex-wife. I'm never gonna, no way am I ever going to be involved with a woman with kids. And she's got kids. And you, oh, there goes that one. We always find ourselves trying to intellectualize, especially when it comes to politics. Well, the reason why is this. And I think I love the tax and spend. That's great for Milton Friedman, but when you vote for somebody, there's something a little bit more there. Now, granted, they have to be, listen, some people can say, you might think that Gavin Newsom is the greatest looking thing, or you might think Gretchen Whitmer is the sexiest thing in the world. I don't know. But once they start talking about policy, you're going to say, well, that went out the door. So it's not just looks or things like that. Men don't like her. Women don't like her. Women really don't like her. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, how many? I want to hear from the ladies. I want to hear from the gals here. How many of you can't stand her because you've met this? You said, I've met this kind of biatch all my life, and she's insincere, and I don't trust her. Pilgrim says, I will never date a woman who chews tobacco. Thank you, Pilgrim. Thank you. Think about what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. They don't understand it. So instead of saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let me tell you who I think is absolutely perfect. I see her as being the perfect test case for future Republican. Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice is an absolute, to me, perfect. You want black? Okay. Eloquent, kind, powerful, smart. I know it. I always look at the person you want to go to as a doctor. The person who says, I'll take care of that. I've seen this before. I know what to do. Have a seat. We're going to take care of this. That's what you want. It's a very, very, very simple thing. And you have it or you don't. Jean Kirkpatrick, Maggie Thatcher, Indira Gandhi. I still think, look, I don't care what you care about her politics. Golda Meir, to me, she was like the Funzi, what's his name? Funzi Torelli or two, the little mobster. He's like 3 feet tall, scared. Probably one of them, Carlo Gambino. They just look so unassuming. I think, oh my God, this guy's serious. That's the thing. It's this connection. And there are these people. So it's not about women. It's not about race. Not about any of this stuff. It's not about that at all. It's not about that at all. You can't have an Eric Adams who sounds like an idiot. There are speech patterns. I'm sorry. You know it and I know it. In our country, there are people who may have a Southern accent. That's fine. He who sounds like a complete, this guy's Lindsey Graham, Israel. The problem we got to do is Israel. He sounds like Jim Neighbors. Well, you know what I'm saying. He sounds very, very not good. Very bitchy and there's some kind of a Lloyd Benson. Remember him? Ooh, I like that. Southern is okay. I don't care about the voice. But then there was two. It's like the uncanny valley. If somebody talks like that, we're going to go there and we're going to get them damn Hamas. No. Sorry. It's not Southern. It's that Southern. And if somebody says many times, they go, no. Is that a black thing? No. It's that voice thing. No. Eric Adams, our mayor, is a cretin. He can't speak English. He has, I don't know what it is. You can name it. I would call it, maybe I've heard it before, urban. I don't know what you want to call it. That's great not for mayor of New York City. No. Anything else, fine. And the worst, Tiffany Henyard. And when you say this, people say it's racist. It's not racist. If somebody came out with a thick, thick, thick Spanish accent like Charo, or like Alec Baldwin's wife, Hilaria, who pretends to have an accent. So anyway, here now, that's one thing. But I'll tell you one thing about Eric Adams, tell you one thing about Tiffany Henyard or Lindsey Graham. They're authentic. This is the way they are. Then you've got this one. You've got Kamala, who's never, ever, ever, ever been real. I don't know who she is. Peter Sellers never had an accent. Nobody knew him. He had no accent. He had no speech. He was always somebody else. Did you know that? Omar Sharif had accents. How do I say this? Omar Sharif spoke every language with an accent. He had a language. He never learned one. I've got a friend of mine who, same thing, he's Cuban, and he was kind of raised sort of with English and Cuban, kind of broken. He has an accent in Spanish and an accent in English. It's the weirdest thing in the world. That's the thing. It's authentic. Tim Walz never came across either. I'm telling you, I would get actors. There was a guy one time. I forget what it was. It was one Broadway play. And there was a group, they walked across. Mrs. Ellen and I were saying, I said, find out the person who stands out in the crowd. Even though they're just walking. We don't even know. Not the star. It goes, that guy. Yep. There's something about it. Tim Walz, I'm going to say, stop with the jazz hands. Walk out like this. Show them how to do it. Walk out. George C. Scott, Pat. Can you imagine George C. Scott coming out? Hi. Hi. So look, I know you may think he's talking about this. It's over now. When you've got 23 days to the election, when you have 23 days to the actual physical election with this on, the people who are going to be voting are not going to be saying that, what was that, Brad, again, about the tax policy? No, they're going to be talking about other things. I know what I'm talking about. And Donald Trump is going to win. And I'm going to say this knowing that I might be jinxing it. I cannot wait to hear. This is going to be the biggest I told you so ever. Now, let me ask you a question. Look at Nancy Lorenz says, I can't stand wolves either. You see that? Now, let me ask you something. Kathy. Nancy, rather. I'm going to call you Kathy. Nancy. Why? Uncle Lenny's asking you here. Have a little focus group. Tell me why. What is the thing about him? Is it because he's a Democrat? Is it because he's Kamala's running mate? Tell me, darling. Tell me. What is it? What is it? And I'm asking you. Can't stand him. Why? What is it? Stolen valor? Does stolen valor really work? Really? The stolen valor? No, that's not the real reason. What's the real reason? What is the thing? I know, for example, Lori says, I agree, I don't like Kamala Walz. I know. Why? Chris Goodman, stolen valor. That's not the reason why. That's not the reason. That's number 5 or 6. It's something more visceral than that. No, it's not it. Let me explain something to you. This might be better than ever. Believe it or not. Pibble Mom says he's a goof. Let me explain something to you. And this is the expression that I have used to the point where I don't even know anymore how to say this, but I'm going to try my best. He is full of shit. Now, pardon me. Uncle Lenny's not trying to curse, but it is something that absolutely, to me, says it all. It comes across as this is insincere. She's not real. I'm not buying this. Inauthentic, ersatz, synthetic, not real. You got it? You got it? Simple. Full of shit. Got it? There's no authenticity. None. I think that Trump may sometimes, regarding certain things, he might be embellishing this a little bit. But as far as what he says about this country goes, oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He is 100% correct. 100% correct. And I believe him absolutely. That's what this is about. We're going to win this. J.D. Vance, stop saying, I'm no big. J.D. Vance is fantastic. I would feel 100% if Trump's 78 is going to be 80. I feel great with J.D. Vance. 100%. 100%. Screaming alcoholic, just kidding. Streaming Analytics says the cringe of walls in front of a class of Chinese children has caused enough sprained necks to positively impact chiropractors. He doesn't even understand it. He doesn't even understand it. Say what you want. You can say whatever you want about old Barry, but Obama was great. Great. I could make some basic kind of, whatever. He was smooth, great, believable. I'm the only one who's going to tell you, I never thought Bill Clinton was as great as they said. I also believe that George W. Bush, whom I detested as a president, but as a human being, he comes across, you kind of like him. He seems like he's a goof, but he's self-deprecating, but he's kind of authentic, but he's not, but whatever it is. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Do you know that I worked at a place? I know I'm not going to mention the place, but one time the owner, George Bush W., was coming in with Laura for some event. And he told his staff, he says, if any of you say anything stupid, I promise you, you're fired. You can't blow this. We're trying to change the particular venue, want to be more political. And they had hardcore lefties. This is way back, obviously. Hardcore lefties after he was president. So hardcore lefties and, all this kind of stuff. They loved him. He was the nicest guy in the world. They loved him. They were taking pictures. George W. Bush. They hated him. There's something that comes across. Something. That's why I want to work on. If you find somebody, let me work on Gavin Newsom. Anybody. I could even do Lindsey Graham. I'm going to get acting coaches, videos, countenance, expressions. You're going to be an actor. We're going to give you a role. We're going to show you how to do it. This is your role. One of the best presidents. See the movie. I don't know which one it was. It was Jeff Bridges and Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman plays a senator, and Jeff Bridges plays the president. And I think Sam Elliott is his, I don't know the name of it, is his chief of staff. That's the president I would want. This guy's so slick. That's what I want. But anyway, we'll leave you at that. My friends, I love you immensely. Thank you. Thank you for starting later today. I know you're busy. You're very good. Screaming Alcoholic. Thank you. I'm sorry. Streaming Analytic. Pilgrim Media. Bradley Opland. Kevin Oujvari. All Alone Prepper. Thank you. Raul, we thank you. And thank you for your kindness. And also, you're so sweet to Mrs. L last night. I appreciate that. Follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Don't forget what I'm saying, my friends. Don't forget what I'm saying. And one more thing. Now that we're done, I want you to do me a favor. You're going to go to preparewithlionel.com and you're going to say, okay, let me see what this is about. And just look at this. And you will be amazed as you are immersed in a world regarding products you had no idea existed, but you will say to yourself, we have to do something now. Trust me. Helene, Milton, supply chain, strikes, internal strife, civil war, aliens, EMPs, grid destruction, whatever, you are being warned. Do this now. Prepare with Lionel.com. Life or death. It doesn't get any more serious than that. All right? Okay. We'll see you tonight at 7, my friends. Don't forget, stay tuned. Stay subscribed to Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal. We did a live one yesterday, and if you were subscribed, you would have seen it. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.